It's Thursday, August 19th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. And now, a guy whose side effects may include headache, dizziness, vomiting, dark stool, light stool, footstool, bar stool, virginity, mild discomfort, vampirism, mild rash, and your mom, J.P. Shadrick.
It's a long list. Welcome in, Jaguars Happy Hour on this Thursday afternoon. It's preseason week 2. I'm J.P. Shadrick. We've got a busy program ahead today, including Peter King of NBC Sports joining us at 4:15 this afternoon. We caught up on the practice field today, and plenty of thoughts from Peter on the adjustment to the NFL for Urban Meyer. Trevor Lawrence, well, he was standing, Peter King was, in the quarterback huddle at one point today on one of the practice fields. Jeff Lageman joins us on set at 4:30 today. We'll get his thoughts going into preseason week 2. The prep continued today on the practice field for the Jags. And then the second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour gets underway at 5 o'clock on the Jaguars Radio Network, and we'll hear from passing game coordinator Brian Schottenheimer and plenty more ahead today. News of the day: Jaguars back on the practice field Thursday in preparation for that preseason week 2 game, the Jaguars and the Saints, on Monday Night Football in the Caesars Superdome in the Big Easy. The Jags today moved toward their Wednesday schedule, what will be their Wednesday schedule, at least trying it out on a Thursday in preparation. Part of the preparation to find a routine for the team on a day-to-day basis. Urban has talked about that in the past as well for individual players, trying to figure out, what to do on certain days, when to go lift, what the routine of a daily football player is. So that's part of the process in preseason for the team as well. So practice times, media time was before practice today. A little shift in protocol the last couple of weeks of training camp. So more of a regular season feel today leading into practice. A couple of transactions before practice today. Daniel Thomas, the safety, second-year man out of Auburn, was pulled off the COVID-19 reserve list. That's good news, so nobody on that list currently. Luke Barker, the cornerback, was waived from the squad to make room. Let's hear from offensive coordinator Daryl Bevell. He spoke with the media this morning, before practice. Trevor Lawrence last week, 6 of 9 passing, 71 yards, of course, in 15 plays of action against the Cleveland Browns. Bevell would not say certainly if he is starting. He said it's leaning that way. They still have some meetings and things to get to try to figure that out in preseason week 2 in New Orleans. Both Lawrence and Gardner Minshew are still getting first-team reps in practice. Bevell today said, though, that the actual game process, getting ready for the game, going through the motions during the game, was huge for Lawrence.
The whole game, the whole game experience for him was a really important part for him to have. He's just had NFL training camp, NFL OTAs, so that was his first opportunity to get in there where actually those guys could tackle him, right? So, that really changes the dynamic of it. And, so he'll continue to get better each and every time that he goes out there.
There's no real doubt about that, it feels like. And we heard Urban Meyer discuss the urgency that he really didn't see a lot of early in the game last week. I don't think that means a no-huddle offense for the Jaguars, let's say. But get to the line, snap the ball, and get going and move along on offense. Just felt a little maybe sluggish in that department last week. They've been working on that in practice, urging some tempo to get guys to run and move a little faster in from the huddle to the line and things like that. We'll see what that looks like this coming Monday night. And, of course, the pace of the game a little bit different for Meyer. He said that after the game last week, he's used to getting 3 or 4 drives in a quarter in college. You might get that many, if that, in a half in the NFL, and the game just rolls along quicker. A small adjustment that he probably knew, but you might not realize how fast things go in the NFL until you are in it, and he certainly was for the first time last week. We got to hear from James Agnew today, a fifth-year receiver. Actually, it's only about his second year as a true wide receiver. He's played a number of positions. DB, was a running back for a short time. He's a punt returner and a former first-team All-Pro returner. He's now a kick returner for the Jaguars. It's a tough coming at the tough cut coming at the wide receiver position. And Urban Meyer said last week they didn't really get to see a lot of Agnew in the first game, and you might not see a lot of him moving ahead because They wanted to get him out of the game last week since he's the kick returner. That's as solidified as you can probably get to make the roster for Agnew, though a big free agent signing for this team in the offseason. He wouldn't admit it that he's solidified on the roster. He's always competing, as he said today, but he knows how tough those cuts will be at the wide receiver position in the weeks ahead.
You know, we got a lot of vets and we got a lot of young guys who, you know, have proven themselves and who are out there making plays every day. So I can't speak on how that decision goes down and, you know, what that decision feels like, but I'm sure it's definitely tough. It's definitely tough, just like, you know, grinding your butt off with those guys every day, and then like one day like they're not there anymore, and it's just like it's something you never get used to in the league.
Yeah, it never gets easier to see guys that you've battled with in the offseason no longer around, and that'll be the case again coming up this Tuesday when the roster goes from 85 down to 80. The Jaguars wide receivers, as we've said a lot in this preseason, well, they're down to 13 now. At one point they had a couple more than that, and it's going to be a very difficult cut. They see, you know, you have a pretty good idea of the first three at least, and Chark and Chenault, and you know, and Marvin Jones Jr., of course, is lighting up training camp this year. But where do these other guys fall? These next two preseason games are huge to figure that out. Seems like Agnew's aboard as one of those, maybe the sixth receiver / kick returner. There's a lot of work to be done at that position in the days ahead. Let's move on the defensive side of the football now. 4 players are listed at co-number ones at strong safety for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Josh Jones, Jared Wilson, Rudy Ford, and Andre Sisco are at strong safety for this team. We heard from Jared Wilson today. He gave his view of the battle at that position.
I think everyone has a job to do each and every day, and it's to come out and compete. And I wouldn't say it's different between training camps in the past, but the intensity of everything and the details of every single rep counts, and it's a winner and loser of every rep is being taken into consideration in this camp. So it's been fun, and it's been a lot of energy in training camp.
Well, Andre Sisco at that spot is a draft pick, and he put together a really nice game last week, had the most snaps played of any defender for the Jaguars, 65% of the snaps in the game, and 8 on special teams as well, and a few different times flashed in that game against the Cleveland Browns. That was a really good sign for him. Jared Wilson is a vet. He's been around this team for a long time. One of the only a couple of defenders remaining from that 2017 team, though he didn't start on that team. He was around on that roster that year. So he's in that fight. There's a lot of reps to be had. D Ford is a veteran in this league, kind of came on as a special teams guy this year, and we'll see what they have in mind. Rudy Ford didn't play in last week's game, so this one coming up is a big for him to see where he falls in the depth chart there. Let's go to linebacker now. And Shaq Quarterman going into year 2 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's right now behind Damian Wilson on the depth chart at middle linebacker. And a preview now of an interview that will air in full on Monday night on the Publix Tailgate Show. Quarterman feels different headed into year number 2.
COVID threw a lot of things into whack last year, but, you know, getting it back on track this year, I'm definitely having fun, definitely enjoying it, definitely just enjoying the whole process. You know, I feel like last year COVID kind of took away from the process of football, and I love football to the utmost. So getting back to the basics is something that I really enjoy.
How is the Urban Meyer process fitting you? There's not many bigger on process of preparing and getting ready for a game than that man.
I think it's going pretty great. You know, I love his approach to the game, his mindset, mentality. You know, he comes from a long lineage of winning, and he comes from, you know, dog-like mentality players, and that's something I could definitely get in tune with. So, you know, the things that he's putting into a rotation here and implementing, I'm in love with.
You know, you in college at Miami, you had 52 starts, the most ever for the University of Miami in a row. Didn't miss one. Mm-hmm. Last season, you missed a bunch of games. You were on IR for a little bit later in the season. How difficult was that? First of all, you were down the depth chart a little bit early in the season. You're a rookie coming in to not be on the field a lot, playing special teams, which is certainly important. but that's a totally different world than you had been used to at Miami. Did that take a little while to overcome?
I would say definitely so. Coming from college, coming from high school, coming from middle school, I've never missed a game. So just those 52 in college was definitely an accomplishment. But, this was coming to someone who never sat on the bench. Even when I came off the field, we were usually going back in for special teams and things of that nature. So, but I'm grateful for it because I learned a lot about myself. I learned what type of ball player I am, what type of man I am. And going into this year where I have more opportunities, I definitely make the most of them. And I feel like, my impression is definitely being felt.
Shaq Quarterman with us, inside linebacker. Last week, preseason week 1, you had the third most defensive snaps of anybody, the most special team snaps, 10 of those. Balancing defensive play and special teams. Last year, it was mainly special teams for you. Now it could be a little bit more as things have changed in preseason and in training camp at the linebacker position. A thin balance, right? Being ready on defense and then, boom, you got to go out on special teams. That's a lot of snaps in one game. How do you balance those two when you have to play both?
It's all about preparation. Going into even practice, you have to prepare your mind to be able to switch into different pockets, which allows you to win. If you think about it as just one single fight, that can be kind of daunting when you think about the whole thing. But for me, whether it's special teams, whether it's first or second down, third down, my only object is to win. So when you have that mindset, whatever position they put you in, as long as you have the same goal of winning, you just out there to compete and be the best of the best in my mind.
Great conversation today with Shaq Quarterman, Jaguars inside linebacker, hometown guy too, went to Oakleaf High School in Orange Park, and you'll hear his thoughts a little later in the second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour on playing in his hometown stadium. Of course, his rookie season a year ago. He was on the IR a bit late in the season, but had plenty of special teams time last year, and he's looking for a little bit more. And the future, I think, is bright for Shaq Quarterman with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've got plenty ahead on Jaguars Happy Hour. Head coach Urban Meyer and quarterback Trevor Lawrence scheduled to speak with the media tomorrow before practice. You can catch those on Jaguars social media and the highlights on the Jaguars Broadcast Weekend Review podcast tomorrow. Jeff Lageman coming up at 4:30 today. But when we return, it's Peter King of NBC Sports. Thoughts on Urban Meyer's transition to the league and much more. Season tickets, single game tickets, and group tickets. Be a part of the new era of Jaguars football and own it. Visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 633-2000. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Titos Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to TitosVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. TitosVodka.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone, like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer, all named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
If something's been hurting, aching, or bothering you, don't ignore it any longer. It's time to take care of your health again. It's time to make an appointment with a Baptist Health primary care doctor or specialist. Call 904-202-4U to schedule a virtual visit or see a doctor in person at a Baptist Health location. The time for better health is here. Call 904-202-4YOU or visit getbetterjacks.com.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony, Jaguars Today. All Jaguars, all NFL, all the time. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on a Thursday afternoon, preseason week 2. The Jags and the New Orleans Saints coming up on Monday Night Football. Glad you're along with us. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman coming up in about 14 minutes from right now. Logs will join us and get his thoughts on the week that has happened and the week ahead at the Caesars Superdome on Monday night. Veterans choose VA for the benefits you've earned. Visit choose.va.gov. Let's hear from Peter King now, a longtime national writer, of course, in the NFL, most notably with Sports Illustrated for 29 years. He started covering the NFL in the mid-1980s, now with NBC Sports. His weekly Football Morning in America column runs Mondays on Pro Football Talk. It is a must-read. It was Monday Morning Quarterback, which is still around, but he created that back in the old days with Sports Illustrated. It has now morphed for him into Football Morning in America. A Pro Football Hall of Fame selector, we discuss Urban Meyer's transition, Trevor Lawrence, and could he hear the snap of his throw today? Tony Baselli and his Hall of Fame chances, and much more. From NBC Sports and Football Morning in America on Pro Football Talk, it's the great Peter King here at Jaguars Training Camp preseason week number 2. What are your initial impressions of Camp Urban Meyer a few hours in?
Well, I think, I had a chance to chat with him a bit before the practice we're at right now. And, essentially, I think what is interesting for him is that, when he's in college, when he's coaching, I think 17 years in college, there is no rule that says, oh, by the way, on August 16th, you got to cut 5 players. And then on August, whatever it is, you got to cut 5 more. And then you got to do this and you got to do that. And he goes, I think the big challenge, one of the big challenges is going to be to get to 53 and to make sure that you protect all those guys and play 17 games. And he said, it's just, that is a big difference. But he said, I've known that for a long time. And I think his other thing that I believe he's tried to do, I think he's really tried to convince his players that, we have to be somewhat of a family. I know everybody says that and all that, and what does it mean? Well, it means that, if you're having a personal problem, I think what he has liked so far is 2 or 3 times players, or in one case, I think a player's wife has basically, reached out and said, we need to talk about something. And a modern head coach, like when I started covering the NFL in the mid-'80s, a coach might say, hey, listen, it's football season. The off season is the time for personal problems, but not now. But he's the kind of guy, and I think that's one of the reasons why he gets along so well with Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson majored in psychology at Arkansas, and Urban knows that dealing with the whole person is a part of being an NFL coach today.
I talked to Jags owner Shad Khan last week, Peter, and I asked him about Urban so far and dealing with him and hearing the messaging that's so consistent from Urban. But he also added that it's the authenticity of it, his track record of success with it, believability. And Kahn said that it just resonates differently than some of the past messages that he's had in coaching staffs and folks here in Jacksonville. And when he's saying that, I tend to believe it. It's more than just between the white lines.
I think the one thing about Urban, and I mean, look, we have seen a lot of college coaches come into the NFL. And for every Jimmy Johnson, there's a Chip Kelly. You know, there's maybe more, there's a Steve Spurrier, you know. So honestly, I mean, JP, we don't know if it's going to work, but I do think that in today's football, you need to make sure that you're not just the football coach of the team, that there is a message out there that the players trust that you can give out every day. And I tend to think that if your players trust the coach and trust the coaching staff, you've got a much better chance to win today in today's football.
Peter King with us from NBC Sports and Football Morning in America. I saw you out on the practice field earlier in the quarterback huddle. Did you hear the snap of the throw from Trevor Lawrence? That's the big question everyone wants an answer.
I wish I did, but the problem is music was playing and you couldn't hear yourself think. I'm just kidding, but the music was too loud and I couldn't hear it. But what I really took from it is that ball comes out of his hands so beautifully, and it's almost effortless. And you know, imagine a Max Scherzer fastball and throwing the fastball without even a grimace, you know, and that's kind of what you notice when you're standing right up next to him and watch him throw that was like probably about a 12-yard out to the sidelines. And look, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a real interesting experiment here because, you know, we all think it's likely he's going to start the opening game and start this season. But, you know, you go from camp to camp, and I mean, there's 4 quarterbacks here who should be on NFL rosters. I mean, active rosters. I mean, if you think right now, and look, who knows, maybe they end up trading Minshew. I don't know. But if you have to go into a season with C.J. Beathard as your backup, that's pretty good. And Jake Luton as your number 3. Yeah. I mean, that's really pretty good. And so I think they're in a good spot at quarterback especially. But again, you know, I think the big issue is going to be, and it always is, if you're going to play a young quarterback, I mean, Peyton Manning threw a jillion interceptions when he was a rookie. And you're just going to have to deal with the growing pains. And I think that, you know, I still really am interested in seeing if Urban Meyer is going to do what he says he's going to do, which is, I have learned in the run-up to this that I need to be able to take losing. And I will. I'll be able to take it. So we'll see what happens with that. He's an educated, very, very smart person. So I don't doubt that he is going to be able to deal with it, but I still want to see it also.
Peter King with us from NBC Sports, Football Morning in America. I love the Joe Cullen story, the comeback story of everything that happened in the early 2000s, and he's fought his way back into the league and has been a defensive line coach for a long, long time, including 3 years here in Jacksonville. He now gets his first shot as a defensive coordinator. Having Joe Cullen finally get an opportunity to call a defense, I think that's a fantastic finish, or at least start to the finish of the story.
Hey, look, about, I think it was 11 years ago, I did a long story for Sports Illustrated on Roger Goodell. And so one of the things, and I looked into how Roger Goodell has been in some ways a Father Flanagan figure. I mean, I'm now thinking to myself, well, let's see. Are listeners going to have any idea what I'm talking about? Let's just say a father figure to a lot of troubled people around the NFL. And look, Joe Cullen, there was a chance after his misadventures in Detroit that he was never going to coach in the NFL again. My feeling is that I think Roger Goodell was really significant in getting Joe Cullen back on track as a person and a coach. And Joe Cullen took that opportunity, and it took a decade, but now he's risen to where he should be. Because, look, I have known him for quite a while, and I have tremendous respect for him as a coach. And I know John Harbaugh, Eric DeCosta in Baltimore, they loved Joe Cullen. And they love the fact he's getting a chance, but they were not happy to lose him at all. And so I think he's one of those stories that I love the fact that Urban Meyer took a shot on him, and I think it's going to pay off. I think he will improve this defense, and I think he's going to, look, there's no question, Josh Allen has got to take a step. They drafted him to be a dominant pass rusher. He's been a nice player so far. He's not been a dominant player. So they drafted him to be a dominant pass rusher, and they need him to be. So the way I look at this is you got a guy who knows how to coach edge players. And so that's just like an added bonus. I really like that hire, and I think he's going to have a really good positive effect on this defense.
Final thought with you. Peter King with us from NBC Sports. Seems like the offensive line logjam for the Hall of Fame has broken up a bit. A lot of those guys are in. Is this Tony Baselli's year?
I give up guessing, projecting about the Hall of Fame because, honestly, JP, I'm never right. So, and I am not the kind of person who calls up any of the 47 other voters and say, hey, what do you think of the Baselli case? First of all, I'm not a big fan of the internal politicking, which sometimes goes on. I think we all ought to vote our consciences, and which is what I do. I vote the way I think is best. And so now it comes to Baselli. And so I feel strongly about his case for a couple of reasons. Number one, in the last 3 or 4 years, we have elected 2 players who were great for a short period of time. Terrell Davis and Kenny Easley. Easley a safety in Seattle, Davis a running back for the Denver Broncos. And so I believe that Tony Baselli, at the absolute very least, was as good at his position as Davis was at his. And I believe he was a better left tackle than Easley was a safety. And there's one other factor in this. He played more NFL games than either of those 2 guys. So for those who say, his career was too short, a 3-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, and he played longer than, and again, look, it's unfair to compare to the guys in the 30s, 40s, 50s because many of them said, I'm going to go get a job in the mill, it pays better. So you just can't really necessarily think that, but I think he's got a good shot, but I don't project. I mean, they don't, the odds of him getting in at some point I think are good. The odds of him getting in this year, this go around, I can't project.
Peter, thank you for the insight. Always great to see you. Enjoy the rest of your camp travels, and we look forward to reading you every Monday morning.
Hey, thanks a lot. Good luck to the Jags. They're going to be an absolutely fun chemistry experiment to watch.
That's Peter King of NBC Sports. We caught up at training camp today. Always an insightful visit from Peter King. He's been doing this for a long, long time, obviously at a very high level. Great thoughts about Urban Meyer and his transition and off-the-field matters with the Jaguars and his football team. The effortless motion of Trevor Lawrence and Joe Cullen getting an opportunity at defensive coordinator. We'll talk about all that and much more when we return with Jeff Lageman, Jaguars analyst, joining us for the next 30 minutes of this show and the start of hour number 2. We're halfway home, and hour number 1 is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Titos Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat even after all these years. Head over to TitosVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. TitosVodka.com.
The Land Rover Defender story began with the simple thought of creating an exceptionally capable off-road vehicle, becoming the go-anywhere, do-anything all-terrain machine. Today, there's a new Land Rover Defender, the toughest and most advanced Land Rover vehicle ever. From the beginning, Land Rover knew the new Defender was capable of great things. Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year is just the latest example. Test drive the new Land Rover Defender today at Land Rover Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard, or go to LandRoverJacksonville.com. Land Rover, above and beyond.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash. Made fresh. Dailies.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Pinpoint, the official signage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, helps business decision makers like you maximize the impact of their brand. Your company's identification, advertising, and even the words you use make an impression on your clients. With Pinpoint as your coach, you can make sure it's a good impression. Pinpoint provides the creative design and production services for anything you need to enhance your brand, from custom signage to complete marketing solutions. Step up your game with Pinpoint and create the ultimate brand experience for your clients. Visit ExperiencePinpoint.com.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
When Jaguars news breaks, you'll hear about it first on 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, it's special teams. You know, this whole roster management is really critical as we journey here into the next 2 weeks. You know, offensive players that, you know, two of the special teams phases are tackling. And you never tackled. That's what I found myself, and I still find myself, all of us. You know, every off day we'll have a 2 to 3 hour meeting about roster management. And it comes down, because we expect to be very good in special teams. And you know, tight end position is one of those, and tailback, if you can't contribute on special teams, that's a tough go.
Head coach Urban Meyer, of course, the other day discussing special teams, the importance, and that was after the first round of cuts. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman joining us now. And good afternoon to you, Logs. What's up?
Good. It's all good, man. By the way, he was talking about Tim Tebow.
Yes,
there.
he was.
That was
correct.
A question. So
but it kind of morphed into pretty much everybody has to contribute if you're on the bubble.
Well, and he was specific about two positions, and that, you know, on offense, it's not like you can ask offensive linemen to contribute on special teams on your core four. But the wide receiver position, tight end, running back room has to be able to contribute. If you're not a starter, you have to be somebody that can contribute on special teams. And I found it interesting in that the preseason game Saturday night, Tim Tebow did not play any special teams.
You have it. Yep. They must have known it, obviously, going into the game that, this is not going as well as they would have hoped.
But anyway,
that's water under the bridge
page
now.
is turned, and it's time to move forward.
What'd you make of Peter King there? He had some interesting thoughts on Urban off the field, dealing with some of the things that athletes go through these days. And,
I found it interesting that he used the term, this is going to be an interesting chemistry experiment.
At the very end, yeah, right?
And that's kind of the thing that stuck out to me because, this is, I wouldn't call this an experiment. An experiment is something that you're doing something that is something that hasn't been done before. You're trying to find out what the reaction or what the final situation is going to turn out to be. I don't look at this as an experiment at all. I think that this is something that it's certainly very measured as far as the decisions that were made to bring in Urban Meyer, et cetera. And so I wouldn't agree with Peter King. As much respect as I have for him, I would not use that term in this situation at all.
How about the quarterback situation now for the Jacksonville Jaguars? We heard Peter discuss that a little bit. He was out there. I saw him. He walked out there in the middle of a practice field with the 4 quarterbacks there, and the idea that he had heard Urban Meyer had told him you can hear the snap of the ball at pro day, right, of coming out of his hand. So he invited Peter back then to, hey, come to training camp and hear it for yourself. But the music was too loud, unfortunately, today. You couldn't really hear all that going on.
You don't have to hear it.
You can see it. And that was his point. It comes out effortlessly. And I'm curious, Logs, what you think about the playing time this week. They haven't officially said anything yet. Urban Meyer is going to talk tomorrow. He might not be fully transparent on it even then. So I would expect some more time for the ones, right, including Trevor if he's the starter.
Well, I think so. I hope that not only do the Jaguars number ones get an extended period of time more than they got against Cleveland, I hope that the New Orleans Saints are doing the same thing. Because Cleveland Browns didn't give you the look that you wanted to have, which was their number one offense was essentially sat down.
Yep.
You'd like to have New Orleans' number one offense play in its entirety, which you expect that they will because Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston are in a battle for the starting quarterback position.
A heated battle, by the way.
Well, it's a very even battle. Yeah. I was actually just a little bit ago watching the film, and Taysom Hill had 20 snaps. Jameis Winston had 19 snaps, and it was pretty even. They both had some good plays. They both had some bad plays. And so you want to be able to get as good of work as you possibly can against starting caliber competition. So you hope that they can see the number ones. And then I think that the Jaguars' number one offense needs to get more reps. And there are certain players that you might pull out and say, okay, hey, look, we don't need to see a ton more of him. Certain guys may get less. Just like Brandon Leonard didn't get much in the first preseason game. They pulled him out. He's a question mark this week, but that's the type of player that I'm talking about. Certain guys you know about. Certain guys need work. And from an offensive line standpoint, you're not going to have your center and Brandon Leonard. You're also not going to have your starting left guard and Andrew Norwell, so you're going to have a couple backup guys there that you feel really good about. You feel good about Shatley. And to be honest with you, Ben Bartch played pretty well last week at left guard.
Yeah, they like him.
Can he continue to get better? I think that's a question that still needs to be answered.
Only one way to find out is to go out there and play.
Well, and you need to play against good players.
That's right.
Cleveland didn't exactly have any of their star pass rushers out there. So you want to see that. But I'm looking forward to the game because it's Monday Night Football. The lights are bright. Everybody around the league is going to have an opportunity to watch. And I think this also provides another test from the coaching staff / personnel side that here you get to evaluate guys playing Monday Night Football. How will they handle something that is a national stage? Because you want players that can handle it without any kind of issue whatsoever. So it's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity to evaluate the players under the national spotlight.
JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. I'm curious your thoughts on the paranoia of NFL coaches, especially in the preseason. How much to show of scheme? What do you want to hide? Urban Meyer asked earlier this week, well, why can't we show certain things? And, Schottenheimer and Daryl Bevell have been around the NFL for a while. I think it just depends on the organization you're in. At some point, though, Logs, football is football, right? But you don't want to show all of your cards. Where's the balance there?
Well, you got to find that balance because
they have to work too.
You got to remember, there's a book already out on Daryl Bevell as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a book out on the Baltimore Ravens defense, which is where Joe Cullen comes from. But that's not the only experience that Joe Cullen has. He's never been a play caller before. So what's the percentages of what his play calls may be? Daryl Bevell's never worked with Schottenheimer before. Mm-hmm. He's never worked for Urban Meyer before. So the offense, even though it is Daryl Bevell as the offensive coordinator, there is some input from other people, and there is a blend in a lot of times, or a lot of instances, I'm sure, of a lot of ideas and concepts. And so there are certain things that you do not want to allow people to see. But there are certain things that are just run-of-the-mill plays. And so you're going to go ahead and you want to be able to execute and get practice utilizing your entire playbook if possible. But I'm sure that there are a couple small chapters that you have over here that you say, you know what, we're not showing that in the preseason.
Off limits.
But here I will say about Joe Cullen. He ran a bunch of stuff in this game against Cleveland. He ran corner blitz. He ran safety blitz. He brought different combinations of linebackers. He was not hesitant to do anything that from a pressure standpoint, he's like, oh, no, we're going to show it. This is what we're going to do. But I'm sure that there are certain other plays that he's not going to want to show. So there is a balance, and yes, there are certain plays that you don't want to show, but you don't want to sit there and go, you know what, we're not going to show 80% of our playbook because we're new coaches. We're going to surprise everybody. No, they know what you're going to use for the most part, but there might be a 5 or a 10% of that playbook that you do not want to use.
Or it's that part of the playbook is only in certain situations against a certain scheme on offense, and you don't pull it out in general anyway. I mean, after the first 2-3 weeks, you've pretty much you've got everything out there on tape anyway of the regular season. I'm saying.
Not really.
No, you would hold some stuff for later too.
No, that's not necessarily true.
Okay.
I mean, there are plays, and if you actually watch throughout the regular season, there are plays that they actually hold back. Okay. Teams will hold back certain plays.
You might have an itchy trigger finger and want to play it and do it earlier, but you're holding it for a special occasion.
And you will add things to your playbook. It's amazing how sometimes there are additions to the playbook as the season goes along. And the additions, you can guarantee for the most part, come because of the opponent's success at using it against you. So, for example, the Jaguars are playing, let's say, Indianapolis. Mm-hmm. Indianapolis runs this cool little throwback offensive play that they beat the Jaguars defense on. Mm-hmm. Daryl Bevell will look at that play and go, that worked. I like it. Never seen that before. And he adds it to his playbook. Next thing you know, 3 weeks later, he's using it against Tennessee. I mean, so things like that happen in the league. But there are certain plays that coordinators and when I mean coordinators, that's all three phases, special teams, offense, and defense, that they will hold back and not show because they want to use that at some point later in the season. And it's natural. It's like having a secret. They view it as a secret weapon. Now, look, can we have the conversation and that coaches put too much importance on the ability of them to have all these secret plays or these plays that they're holding back or they're not showing? It probably is a little bit over the top.
Yeah, paranoia reigns. Yeah, that's right.
But
but hey,
they like to have it in their bag, so to speak, where they can pull it out when they want to.
Whatever makes you sleep good at night, right?
Hey, look, I like the ability of having some plays that you do hold back, and especially when you have a young quarterback, because nobody knows what this Jaguars offense is going to really look like. How much will they run Trevor Lawrence? How much of the read option game will be incorporated into the offense? I guarantee you, JP, that there are a lot of football teams that have done some advanced scouting on the Jaguars, and you know which film they're watching?
Clemson.
You're darn right.
Yep.
You're darn right, because I guarantee you that Daryl Bevell has added some plays that they ran at Clemson.
Plenty ahead on Jaguars Happy Hour. We'll come back with a look at some battles on defense that are raging, especially in the secondary, where there are 4 co-number ones at strong safety even still. If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is presented in part by TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. And Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Titos Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat even after all these years. Head over to TitosVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. TitosVodka.com.
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
Headquartered right here in Jacksonville, CSI Companies is one of the fastest growing workforce solutions companies in the nation. As a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI has the resources necessary to scale with any enterprise, yet they are small enough to maintain the agility, personal service, and remarkable experience they've become known for over the past 3 decades. This is your workforce and your business reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com to learn more.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone, like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer, all named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Jacksonville Sports Talk for Jacksonville sports fans. 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars Game Day broadcasts are presented by ViStar Credit Union, and we welcome you back to Jaguars Happy Hour on this Thursday afternoon. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, busy schedule coming up at Daly's Place. Tomorrow night, Lady A takes the stage. September 3rd, Chris Tomlin, Carrie Job, and Bethel Music Tour. September 9th, Rod Wave, Sam Hunt on stage September 10th. Plenty of great shows ahead in late September and into October. Carlos Santana's coming, Logs. I know you'll be fired up for that. I want to try to make that one.
I think he knows how to play guitar.
He's been at it for a while. Tickets available at dailysplace.com. Time now for the injury report presented by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. Dylan Moses on the active non-football injury list. That seems like a long-term play. And there is no name listed on the reserve COVID-19 list right now for the Jaguars. Knock on wood that stays the same. As the safety from Auburn, Daniel Thomas, came off earlier today. A few others that Urban Meyer noted earlier in his week, in his press conference just the other day. Brandon Linder with patella tendonitis, the center for the Jaguars. Andrew Norwell has an elbow issue, but he's back on the practice field. That's a good sign, but we'll see if he even goes on Monday. And then Trey Herndon, the corner, with an MCL strain, according to Urban Meyer. In the preseason, you don't have to have an injury report officially, so that's the latest from the coach's
Well, we
mouth.
can have an injury report all we want.
Well, we just did one.
But the coach doesn't have to
That's
give
what I'm saying.
one.
But he gave some actual detail on a few of those,
which is great. I mean, I think the fan base loves a coach that I don't want to have he doesn't have to give us all the details, but gives you a general idea. What do you call that? Being open and honest. I mean,
transparency,
transparent, or whatever you want to call it, as opposed to the opposite end of that spectrum, which is Bill Belichick, which gives you nothing. And but I appreciate it. I like it. I mean, you like to know about your football team, and when you get information like that, you don't need to know all the specific details, but the general stuff it's good.
Looking at the Jaguars depth chart again this week, there is a 4-way draw at the strong safety spot. 4 guys at number 1 on the depth chart: Josh Jones, Jared Wilson, Rudy Ford, Andre Cisco. We heard from Jared Wilson today. Rudy Ford didn't play last week. Josh Jones did. He's been around the league for a little bit. And Andre Cisco, the rookie, I think, stepped out and played pretty well last week. Who is leading this right now in your eyes, Logs?
Well, I mean, if you talk to 5 different people, you might get 3 different opinions for the most part. I think there are some people that probably like, when I say some people, I'm sure some of the staff like a Josh Jones. He's physical. He can play in the box. There are some that might like Jared Wilson, a nice kind of complement between a guy that can play in the box and also play in space, and he's got a lot of experience. Rudy Ford has played very well in training camp when he's practiced. Cisco has an immense amount of ball skills, which is hard to ignore. And so this is going to be, and when a lot of times when you see co-starters or you see somebody that might be at number 2 on the depth chart and there's 2 guys at number 2 on the depth chart, some of that stuff can be what I call manufactured.
Okay.
You're trying to give somebody a kick in the rear end and let them know that, hey, look, you got to get better because we're going to put this guy and he's even with you, when in reality he's not. But this is real. I mean, these guys are all fairly even when it comes to the ability to be a starter. And I would also say that, look, Daniel Thomas could be a consideration.
Okay.
And maybe he's not in that 4-way tie just because he was on the COVID list, but in reality, Daniel Thomas, when he was practicing, he was playing very well. So this is not going to be an easy decision whatsoever. And I think that there's a couple different ways they can go. And I think the best part about this, the competition that's happening there is making that position better for this team. Because guys know if I don't carry or I don't show my abilities and the opportunities that I have, I'm going to fall behind. And it makes guys stay on point. And that's a good thing. It makes teams competitive. It makes the team better.
Staying at safety, Rayshon Jenkins came in free agency in this offseason and has really flashed at least a number of times that I've seen in training camp and early in the game Saturday night against the Browns. Coming up, making plays. He's all over the practice field, it feels like. I think that other side at safety seems somewhat solidified, though they wouldn't admit that as a coaching staff right now. We still got a few weeks, but it's pretty clear.
There's no doubt that he's the guy, and for a couple reasons. One is playmaking ability. How he closed on the tight end on the Brown sidelines and knifed him up down low, and the tight end couldn't even come back for the next play because he was physical. Mm-hmm. He's got great coverage ability. He's got super high energy and leadership. And that's something that it's kind of hard to say, okay, there's a value in that. It's hard to put a number on that if you were like paying a guy for that type of ability. I like the way he plays. I like the way he has energy. With Griffin at the corner spot, that whole secondary is going to have plenty of energy with those 2 guys.
You got it.
And in my opinion, I think those two guys are a big boost for this football team. What a great find in free agency, the both of them.
Yeah, and it's the story of Griffin and Jenkins growing up together down in the Tampa area.
Well, and I hope,
crazy.
I hope, because C.J. Henderson doesn't have that energy right now for whatever reason. Can these two guys help him find it? I hope so, because these are two great guys to kind of follow their lead.
I think CJ is, when he's right out there and playing at a high level, his skill set, I think, competes with anybody else that's on that roster at corner.
There's no question about his skill.
Yeah.
I mean, that's never been a question.
That's right.
The question mark is he committed to football? Is he okay? I mean, we don't know. I mean, that's the one thing about it. The only thing that we know is that he has talent. There's no questioning his talent. Does he have the commitment to be able to excel? And that's not easy because, this is not baseball. This is not golf. You can't kind of sort of want to play football. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You got to be committed. There's a level of intensity,
hard game,
and energy that is required to play the game of football. I always said, because I had a son, and he wanted to play football when he was young.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he was a big kid,
Yeah,
and I was like,
he
man,
is a big kid, yes.
And he's a man now.
That's right.
But I just remember, yeah. And he wanted to play football one year, and then after that, he's like, I don't really want to play. And I told him at that point, I said, you can't sort of want to play football, So, and I don't know where CJ is at, but when you watch him on the field, at times, the excitement, the celebration that happens with teammates, I mean, I'm not quite seeing it yet, and I hope he can get it back.
We'll see. The next few weeks are big, and he was out there in a good way. And I think
look, he had injury. He had time on the COVID list. I mean,
a lot going
I
on.
don't know where it's coming from, but, I mean, he's been through a lot, and hopefully he gets back to where he wants to be.
And I think that's part of what we heard Peter King talking about with Urban Meyer, and it's just a different era of coaching. It's not just between the white lines, and it's not just dealing with it in the off season anymore. It is 12 months a year, 365 days. You got to take care of your guys.
Not as much as college, though. That's the great thing about coaching in the pros. The lack of recruiting, I'm sure Urban Meyer is going to be or has enjoyed very much.
But you understand when they reach out to Henderson and go to his house, as the report said, and they confirmed, you understand why players really latch on to Urban Meyer and this coaching staff, and because Urban is giving his all to them, not just as football players, but everybody else too.
Well, did you see the interview with the Jaguar strength and conditioning coach?
I did one right before.
What's his name again?
Schlegel, Anthony Schlegel.
Anthony Schlegel. And he had something that he termed the GSF. Give a
blank factor.
S factor.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. When the players know that you care, it's another way to put it, and that you give a
blank,
okay, then they're willing to return the favor and commit to you and to your program. And I think that's what Urban, I think, does a really good job of from what I see. And like I said, I don't know Urban from nothing. Mm-hmm. We've had some conversation, very brief, but just from watching him and how he interacts with the players, there's a lot of interaction. The more so than head coach player stuff that I've seen at other times here, and it's good to see because you can tell that it's not just about a real quick comment and then that's it. You can see that there's more to it.
Plenty ahead. We'll come back in just a moment with the network hour of Jaguars Happy Hour.
By the way, if people haven't seen the interview with Schlegel, the strength and conditioning coach.
He's a trip.
Go to
man.
Jaguars.com because that GSF that he talked about on Jaguars.com, that might be one of the best interviews I've ever seen. He made me get ready to go to work.
More with Jeff Lageman ahead. We'll hear from Brian Schottenheimer, Shaq Quarterman, Peter King. It's the second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour after this on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look.
This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Former Jaguar Jeff Lageman and JP Shadrick provide the latest Jaguars news and what's happening around the NFL. Jaguars Happy Hour begins right now.
Welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on a Thursday afternoon on the Jaguars Radio Network. JP Shadrick with you, along with Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman as we get ready for preseason week 2, Monday Night Football. The Jaguars and the New Orleans Saints coming up from the Caesars Superdome. Yes, Jeff. Hello. We are wearing matching shirts today.
We are.
For those listening on our radio network.
Yeah, I got that text from you this morning. You told me to wear this shirt, and so I did. And I was like, what? When I got here, I was like, wait a minute. Why did you ask me to wear this shirt?
It's a great teammate, man. I mean, we're dressed alike. We're ready for week 2 preseason. We're owning it. We're, going through the edge. We're doing above-the-line thinking, all this stuff.
These are nice shirts, by the way.
They are. Thank you.
Did you get your new teal one yet?
I got it.
Are we wearing that next week?
I'll probably wear it next week. We'll make a note of it, and you can remind us on social media, too. So the Jags visit the Saints on Monday night for preseason week number 2. Lawrence and Minshew are still listed as the co-number 1 quarterbacks on the depth chart. And
come on.
Well, they are. I'm just telling you the facts. Just the facts, ma'am.
Okay, the facts is that Trevor Lawrence is the starting quarterback.
Okay.
I mean, he's the best quarterback.
Well, yeah, we've talked about this before, but they have not officially said that for the
I think
season.
you could make an argument that you could say that you would have co-backups, C.J. Beathard and Gardner Minshew.
Okay.
Because if you looked at the way that C.J. Beathard played against Cleveland in the first preseason game, you would say he deserves an opportunity to compete for the backup job. Would you not?
He was 13 of 16 last week.
Facts.
102 yards, touchdown.
Facts.
Jake Luton played pretty well at the end also.
C.J. Beathard, 13 of 16.
Gardner,
102 yards and a touchdown, a 114 rating.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty good. That's a great day.
Okay, so if we're having winners and losers.
Well, he won that. I think he won that day.
That's a big win.
That's a big win.
So
because game reps probably carry more weight.
Absolutely. Now, in practice, I thought Gardner Minshew, for the most part, had performed better than C.J. Beathard in the first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, overall. But here's the thing. The ultimate grade, where you always have you grade on a curve. Okay? Like, for example, when you were in college, did you go to college?
I did.
Okay.
All 4 years.
Okay. When you go to college.
Got out in 4 years.
And you get a grade, okay, you'll have a percentage assigned to each part of your work. Okay, you got percentage for tests, a percentage for papers, percentage for homework, etc., right?
Sure.
In the NFL, there's a heck of a larger percentage put on when game times roll around, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so CJ would, that grading on the curve would give him a boost in the standings and boost his overall grade up. Now, is it enough to be able to have Minshew and C.J. Beathard listed as co-backups? I don't know, but I would say that it ultimately comes down to game performance.
I'd love to see and maybe at some point, maybe not, see their grading system once it's all said. And like, what are they? They're not using a GPA system. Like, what do they use to actually keep track of reps and grades, and what do they go back and lean on? What does it look like?
Well, that's interesting.
All
because
the analytics and people involved.
In reality, what you're talking about is giving somebody a grade. Okay, winners and losers, same thing, right? Grades. So do you evaluate every rep a guy takes?
They said they would. That's what Urban said.
Okay. Are those reps including individual drills, how they work in individual drills?
I mean, so.
Here's
a lot of data.
The reality is that everything is looked at. Okay, when they film practice, the old way to do it was that they would film 9-on-7, they'd film 7-on-7, they'd film team. Individual period, they used to never film individual period. Nowadays in the National Football League, they film everything.
Just them going around a dummy or whatever.
Everything.
Yeah.
So that they can go back and watch anything and everything to be able to grade a player. That's the way it is. And here's the other thing. You're not being graded just when you're on the practice field. You're being graded when you're in meetings. You're being graded when you're in the hallway. You're being graded when you're in the locker room. The interactions with staff, whether that be training staff, equipment staff, all of that is factored in to the grading system to determine who's going to make a football team. That's reality.
Are we being graded right now, Lance?
Probably so. I'll never forget, JP, my first free agent visit here to Jacksonville. We had I got picked up by a car at the airport.
Okay. What kind of car? Do you remember?
It wasn't like a limo, but it was like a car service.
Okay,
But there was a guy that was in it, somebody that was on the Jaguars staff, and his name was Matt McCullough. Okay, Matt worked for the scouting department.
Yes.
Okay, and what he was I don't want to say a plant.
He was the mole.
Not like a green
mole.
plant.
He was the guy.
Exactly.
He
He was there to talk to me to kind of find out, okay, first of all, to help me out, to get to where I was going, et cetera, et cetera.
But he was the advanced scout that was like, this guy is a good guy or not a good guy.
I guarantee you that everything that I said to him was being reported back to Tom Coughlin and Rick Reprish and Ron Hill and all the people that were making the decisions for the Jaguars at that time.
Yeah.
And that's the facts. I mean, when you are in this building and even out of this building, you are being analyzed or looked at, how you handle yourself, how you work, how you get along with other kids in the classroom, so to speak. I mean, all that stuff.
Do you play well with others? Sometimes.
There's some that don't play well with others, I can tell you that. Or that haven't played well with others.
Let's hear from Daryl Bevell, the Jaguars offensive coordinator, spoke this morning before practice, and the conversation went to Trevor Lawrence, of course. Could start again. They haven't officially said yet, and maybe play deeper into the game. Offensive coordinator said he was happy to see the process of game management and game preparation begin.
The whole game, the whole game experience for him was a really important part for him to have. He's just had NFL training camp, NFL OTAs, so that was his first opportunity to get in there where actually those guys could tackle him, right? So, I mean, that really changes the dynamic of it. And, so he'll continue to get better each and every time that he goes out there.
So, obviously, Trevor Lawrence has prepared for football games before. Yes, the week of practice, the day of the game, getting ready, going through it. But in the NFL, you got to figure out your routine, the weekly routine. What do you do at a certain time each day and set that routine? And then on game day, how do you prepare to go out and get ready for a game? And then during the game, the actual guys coming at you, all that he just said there. He's done it before, but got to do it for a first time in the NFL.
It's different. It's different. By the way, the throw that we just were watching Trevor Lawrence performance from the Cleveland game and that throw that he made on the little out route.
Oh, that was the best one.
Was outstanding.
Yeah.
The best throw of the night. It took decision making, timing, arm strength, accuracy. I mean, everything that you want.
Third down play
was on that throw. Absolutely, move the sticks. And I think the most impressive thing so far is with him has been a lot of different things. One, I mean, the arm strength, the accuracy is great. The way he handles himself is just impressive.
He gets it. He gets the role that he has been drafted to be in.
But, I mean, it's so many different guys have come into that situation and haven't handled it like he does. And I think his teammates, you can just tell the way they talk about him. they appreciate that, because a lot of number one overall picks would have come in the past, not here, but other places, and felt that it was about them. And he's never given that impression that it's about him. And teammates always want things to be about team. And I think that he's very special in that way. And we haven't even seen a lot of aspects to his game that really made him a great player at Clemson, the mobility, et cetera. But the one thing I think that also is impressive about him from a game management standpoint, which Daryl Bevell just alluded to, how many times do you remember, JP, him having a moment in practice to where they had to re-huddle because something was amiss?
Yeah.
How many times they had a delay of game?
Not often.
How many times that they had to say, whoa, stop
everything.
And then he had to have a conversation with the offensive coordinator about what the play is supposed to look like. We don't see that.
No. Now, I'll say there are instances, to his credit, where maybe they're out in a formation, the guy's in the wrong place, and he's the one that points it out and gets him in the right place.
Exactly.
He's running the show.
Exactly. That, to me, has been – and that he's never had a moment to where it's been like, oh, no, I don't know what to do, or I'm overwhelmed. And that's impressive, because the playbook, when you go from Clemson – and remember now, at Clemson, he didn't call a lot of plays in the huddle.
No.
Okay? So this is totally different for him. And the playbook that you have at Clemson, it's different, and it's much smaller than the playbook that you have at the National Football League level. And the essentially the mechanics of it are certainly different. And that's been impressive to me, that you just don't notice anything that looks amiss with him. It looks natural.
Check out the official Jaguars podcast network. It's a free subscription on Apple iTunes or Spotify. Which one do you use, Logs?
Spotify.
Okay.
I'm a huge Spotify.
There you go. You and Baselli. We'll have this program archived immediately after the Huddle Up show with Bucky Brooks on Wednesdays, and plenty of content there. Give us that 5-star rating and a comment when you subscribe and download. It's a free one. Thank you for doing that. Plenty ahead. We'll hear a little later in this program from Brian Schottenheimer, the passing game coordinator, Shaq Quarterman, a linebacker for the Jags in his second year, and NBC Sports contributor Peter King. We're off and running. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is presented in part by Dreamfinders Homes. Homes that fit your lifestyle. Next Grill, everyone's invited. And Adecco. Visit AdeccoUSA.com.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's been around longer than your quarterback. When you put it on, everyone knows it's game time. So legendary, it deserves its own Hall of Fame. Members-only jackets, undeniable quality and style for over 45 years. Scratch and claw your way over to membersonly.com. Get ready for football season with a jacket that can only be summed up in one word: iconic. Use discount code Jaguars at checkout for 35% off on all iconic racer jackets. Members only. When you put it on, something happens.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone. Like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer. All named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford SUVs. Drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Yeah, when I look back, make sure I continue to lean, and if I look up, making sure I'm not creating my own separation, make sure I lean into the guy. So, in my position, things are like that going to happen. But, I want to make sure that it doesn't happen on a consistent basis. So, I went over film, did reps in practice this week, so getting better for that.
That's rookie cornerback Tyson Campbell discussing the touchdown pass over the top of him just before halftime on Saturday night. Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, and I liked hearing him explain what happened. He knew exactly why it happened and what he's doing to not let it happen again. That's a good sign from Tyson.
He's the shadow. I mean, that's his nickname. I'm giving it to him.
Oh, you're nicknaming him now, right now.
I mean,
breaking news, we have a new nickname.
He's got great coverage ability. Great coverage ability. And JP, you go all back to the time we had a conversation back in the springtime when we were talking about Tyson Campbell, when I had an opportunity to look at his college film. And I said at that time that this guy can cover, and he covers really well. The only thing that he needs to do better is that he needs to do more things when the ball is arriving, to make plays on the ball, interceptions, etc. Because he can cover anybody. He's got elite speed. He's right in their hip pocket. That's why I call him the shadow. There's not many corners in the league that can do that. And there was a moment that where he's just got to find the ball and then make a play on it. And so I don't worry about Tyson Campbell. When you watch the way he works in practice, he's going to continue to get better. He is very aware of his work ethic, his feet positioning, his hands, and his consistency. I mean, JP, whenever you get the chance to watch him, there are certain guys that play defensive back. When they line up, their body is never the same. Their kind of feet are never the same. When he lines up, he is tuned in and he's ready to go. He's using the same kind of stance, the same footwork. I mean, he's just – a lot of times playing defense, defenders don't look at that as something that has to be consistent. They look at that, I just need to be athletic and aware, etc. Offensive players are the ones, in wide receivers, when they run routes, they want things to be perfect, the footwork, the approach and everything. But I think Tyson Campbell's approach is pretty cool. You can tell that he's committed and he works very hard at his craft.
So last week, he and Sidney Jones, fourth, were co-number one corners going into that game in Cleveland. You got to see, as we've talked about on an earlier show here in Jacksonville, C.J. Henderson's situation. He had a nice game last week, but he's down the depth chart now because he's been on the COVID list and things. So as of right now, it's Shaq Griffin on the outside, Sidney Jones or Tyson Campbell at the other corner. There's that feel that Campbell could go inside and play in the nickel spot here. We're a few weeks away from it really having to matter, but where you see this shaking out, at least right now. Let's just say C.J. Henderson, let's hope he's ready to go week one. How do these other guys shake out?
But that's part of
the equation.
Every answer that you have, that's part of the factoring
Yep.
of what you're going to do. So is C.J. Henderson ready to go? Is he going to be here? I mean, I don't know. So I will tell you this. Tyson Campbell's a really good get. Really good get. Whether you have C.J. Henderson in the fold or not, because Tyson Campbell is a starting caliber quality corner in this league, and that's good to have. Can you get by without C.J. Henderson? Yes. Would you be better off if you had that talent on the field?
Absolutely.
No question.
Yeah, sure.
Sidney Jones is a good football player. Is he a starting caliber player? When he started for the Jaguars last year, and the year before, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, he had some moments.
He had some really good moments.
Sure.
Really good moments. So
he has an injury-riddled past, though.
That's the question with him. Look, all I know is that regardless of C.J. Henderson, Tyson Campbell's made your football team better. He's made your football team better in a lot of different ways. From a pass rush standpoint to a coverage standpoint, he's going to make you better. And then you got to try to find a way to get better elsewhere. And if that includes C.J. Henderson, great. Hopefully it works.
Hope so, yeah, because, like you said, if they're all out there, I mean, there's a lot of new back there, but there's a lot of talent back there, too, at corner.
A lot of talent. A lot of talent at corner, and there's much better talent in the secondary. That's the one thing, this defense had to get revamped. There's no question.
They certainly did it.
Last year, they did not have an overabundance of talent. Back end, front end, middle end, they didn't have much.
Any end you want to look at?
It was a rebuild.
Yeah.
And they were able to address 50%, or should I say, in reality, 3 out of the 5. That's 60% of the back end in free agency and the draft. That's pretty good.
It's a lot.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
Now, next year, were you able to address the entire defense? You got some veteran guys, okay, but you still need to find some pieces, some top-end pieces to this defense. Pass rusher, whether it be a guy on the outside or somebody developed, somebody on the inside. You don't have some guys that you're sitting there going, okay, do we have enough to go this year? You're better than you were last year. But do you have top-end guys to where when the opponent looks at your film, they go, how are we going to deal with that guy? Do you have that guy? Right now, I say no.
Don't know. I mean, yeah,
I don't think there's an offensive coordinator that's looking at your front right now going, we got to worry about that guy and we got to double him. But can you develop somebody to be that guy? Can Josh Allen be that guy?
He was drafted to be that guy.
I hope.
New scheme maybe helps him.
Can Chazon be that guy? I hope.
Devon Hamilton could be that guy.
But right
in the
now,
middle.
and Devon Hamilton, absolutely. But are they there now? No.
A work in progress.
You want them to get there, though.
Plenty ahead. Some more thoughts from Jeff Lageman when we return. So think about those thoughts.
I'm thinking.
And we'll come back and get them from you. A little later in the show, we'll hear from Shaq Quarterman, Jaguars middle linebacker, who is now moved up to the depth chart, special teams contributor as well, Jacksonville area native, and Brian Schottenheimer, the Jaguars passing game coordinator. Jaguars Game Day broadcasts are presented by ViceStar Credit Union, and this is Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
A lot has changed in 60 years, but there's one thing that remains the same. Our commitment to our customers and to our community. There's no place like Jacksonville, and there's no place like Gate. Thank you for allowing us to serve you, past, present, and future. Now through August 31st, Jags fans can enjoy 2 of your favorite roller grill items for just $2 at participating Gate locations. Get them while they're hot. Gate, serving up more.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubbies Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network. As we get ready for preseason week 2, the Jacksonville Jaguars visit the New Orleans Saints at the Caesars Superdome. Monday Night Football, 8 o'clock, the kickoff time Eastern. We'll be on the air in Jacksonville with the Publix Tailgate Show on 1010XL, our flagship station, at 5 o'clock, and then here on the network at 7 o'clock with Countdown to Kickoff. And we'll look forward to that game on Monday night. By the way, I know it's a preseason game. It won't count in the all-time Monday Night Football appearances because that's a regular season count of things.
Mm-hmm.
But the last time the Jaguars played on Monday Night Football, can you guess, Logs?
No, I have no idea. It's been like 4 years ago?
2011 was the last Monday Night Football appearance. They played the Chargers in December of that year.
That was way off.
On Monday Night Football.
It was here. Remember that.
It was here. That's right. And the Chargers beat the brakes off the Jaguars.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Night. Yeah, it was a bad one.
Yeah, well, that's why you don't get Monday night games.
That's what happens when
you don't have good games. They have a tendency to not want to put you on Monday night.
It happens. So this
hey,
doesn't
by the
count
way,
that list. But anyway, yes.
By the way, Peyton Manning and Eli Manning are doing this like
a side channel show or something on Monday nights. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Are they doing it this week coming up?
That's a good one. I have not seen. I know the crew on regular TV is going to be on it. Steve Levy and Riddick and Greasy and Salters on the sideline.
Yeah.
But I do not see them listed on the Jaguars release. That doesn't mean I'll do a little research on that. That's a good one.
I mean,
I'm interested to watch that sometime. I mean,
well, the reason I ask, and maybe they're not going to air it, but I would be surprised if they're not having some type of practice run through, Eli and Peyton, that ESPN is doing, but they're not going to air it, just so that they can get some reps and preparation for the regular season. I think that's going to be wildly interesting to see what the ratings will compare when you have the regular broadcast versus the Peyton and Eli broadcast. Which one would you tune into?
I'll be honest with you. No offense to Levy and the rest of the crew. I want to hear what Peyton and Eli have to say.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
Because you know it's going to be entertaining, certainly, with those two.
And
then you'll learn a lot about football.
I think you could actually take a Peyton Manning and an Eli Manning and maybe even add two other former players that have some great insight and put them all in there. As long as there's chemistry, to get former players in there to start talking about it, I think it would be a wonderful idea, to where they're drinking beer and, all of a sudden the beer start flowing a little bit more, and then all of a sudden you start getting a little more insight.
The fourth quarter, you're getting a lot more insight than you did in the first quarter that way. I guess.
But I'm looking forward to that. I really want to see that.
So
I'm a big Peyton Manning fan.
Did you watch his Hall of Fame speech, by the way?
I did not.
Fantastic.
I did not. I didn't get a chance. So I go back. It's one thing that I really enjoy is the Hall of Fame induction speeches, and at some point I always watch them through the football season and listen to them all, because I'm a big fan of the Hall of Fame and the Hall of Fame induction speeches. In fact, I have seen a couple so far, and I have not gotten to Peyton yet, but I will.
He was fantastic.
I'm kind of saving that one, because
it's a good one.
Yeah, I know it's going to be good, and that's why I'm kind of saving that one for the last. And, this year there's a lot to watch.
There are double the amount to watch this year. So the Saints and the Jaguars coming up Monday night. I asked you this last week. It's kind of the question of the week in the preseason. What is a successful night for the Jaguars in week 2 of the preseason?
Want to see some success. You want to see the offense put points on the board. You want to see defense with some impact plays. That's the one thing that you didn't see on either end, really, in last week's game, was either one of those. And so you want to see some progress in that department. And against the Saints in prime time, it would be a great opportunity to be able to see that. So, that's number one. And you want to see Trevor Lawrence continue to show improvement. And I would expect that he's going to start the game. Minshew has reps in game situations. Your first overall pick of the draft does not. He is going to be your starter. Give him the opportunity to continue to grow. This is very valuable for him, I think, as he heads into the season. And Monday Night Football, what's better? I don't know about you or anybody else that are in the National Football League. Most guys, there's a special place about playing football at night. It's something totally unique because most of them grew up playing Friday night under the lights.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, when I had the opportunity to ever play a night game, it always took on a little bit more significance because it took you back to your roots. It took you back to why you played the game for fun. High school, man, you loved it. And so I loved the night games. Hated it the next day. And the travel, if you were on the road for a night game, hated it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not back till 6 in the morning or whatever. Right?
But the actual playing in the game at night in front of a national TV audience, take it all day long.
Looking forward to it Monday night. Logs, well done as always, and we'll talk to you.
And by the way,
weekend.
Oh, you're not traveling, are you?
I'll be right here at this desk at this microphone on Monday night.
I guess in New Orleans you got to have your vaccination card everywhere you go.
That's correct.
All right,
you better go find it. Go get it.
I got it.
All right,
I got it.
Logs, have a good one. We'll talk
Thank
to you. Jeff Lageman out of here. Plenty ahead. Brian Schottenheimer, passing game coordinator, coming up. We'll hear from Shaq Quarterman, inside linebacker, and Peter King. We're about halfway home. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Hold on. You want me to tell them about Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea in just 30 seconds? This is impossible. Hey, I'm Billy from Twisted Tea. How can I explain that first sip of cold, smooth, real brewed tea? So good! And the extra kick you get from just the right amount of alcohol? The twist of lemon, Wait, what? We're almost out of time? Oh, shit. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network. Glad you're along with us on this Thursday afternoon. JP Shadrick with you. Joe Fortunato on the audio side. Brent Reber on the video department today. Max Hockman jumped in a little earlier. You can check that out on Jaguars.com and Jaguars social media channels. The Jags and the Saints coming up Monday night. The quarterback battle in New Orleans is red hot to try to figure out who is the heir to Drew Brees there. Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill going at it. The Times-Picayune paper in New Orleans is charting numbers at practice every day. We see that here, of course, but there it has quite significance with those two going at it back and forth every single day in training camp. And we'll see. It'll be a big week for the Saints in that regard. Certainly for the Jacksonville Jaguars, too, with they haven't announced yet who will officially start for the Jags. Trevor Lawrence started last week. The expectation is that he could start again this week, though he and Gardner Minshew have both seen first-team reps in practice again this week and could both see time with what is left of, or what will start of, the first-team offensive line this Monday night. Now a preview of an interview that will air Monday on the Publix Tailgate Show in Jacksonville on 1010XL, our flagship station. Passing game coordinator Brian Schottenheimer discussing the first go-around with Urban Meyer, Daryl Bevell, and him on in-game communication.
It was really clean for the first go-around. Normally in a first preseason game, or preseason in general, there's a lot of voices, a lot of people talking, things like that. But I would say it's very clear. Bev's very calm. So when it does get a little noisy, it doesn't bother him. He just kind of waits through it. And I thought the quarterbacks did a good job of just kind of getting the information and communicating to the guys. But I would say overall for a first preseason game, it was at least a B+, maybe an A-.
Brian Schottenheimer with us, passing game coordinator. Urban Meyer the other day talked about kind of asking why can't we show certain things in the preseason. You've been in the NFL for a long time. Why can't you show things in the preseason? Why is paranoia so rampant in the NFL?
I think everybody's different. Philosophically, everybody's different. I completely understand what Urban's looking for, what he wants. I think as a veteran coach, you can look at it two ways. Sometimes you show too much and you give your opponents the advantage, but we're a believer that we're going to do what we do. Not that we'll show everything. We're going to do what we do.
See, there it is again.
Have a little success and play well. But, again, the preseason really to evaluate the players. Of course you want to have success. You want to score points. You want to light up the scoreboard. You want to protect the football. Each philosophy is a little bit different, but there'll be a few tricks left up our sleeve for sure coming into the opener.
I'm sure there will be. That is Brian Schottenheimer. The full interview will air Monday afternoon on the Publix Tailgate Show. And for those on our radio network, you can catch that program on 1010XL on the app there or on Jaguars social media channels, including Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Plenty ahead on Jaguars Happy Hour. We're back in a moment with Jaguars inside linebacker Shaq Quarterman. He continues to rise up the depth chart, and he'll be a huge special teams contributor for this team as well. The Jacksonville area native. We'll catch up with him when we come back. Secure the best seats at the best price. Become a Jaguars season ticket member today. Visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone. Like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer. All named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Summer is the perfect time to update your home. It's the best savings of the year going on right now at Renewal by Anderson of Florida. Get 25% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Find out more at rbafla.com. Renewal by Anderson, the official replacement window and door partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Offer expires August 31st. Restrictions apply. Minimum purchase of 3 windows or patio doors required. License number CGC 1527613.
At ViStar, we believe in better. And that means treating people better with friendly, personal service that's kept our members happy since 1952. A smile and personal greeting when you enter the branch, an online or phone chat for those quick questions, and a call center that's open every day. If you believe that great service is better, join ViStar. Visit ViStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Fans like you have been told that going all out is going too far. But fans like you know better. You're the kind of fan who loves the team as much as your pet, who paints yourself for game days and dyes your pet's fur to match. You are a rare breed. You are a pet fanatic, equal parts pet obsessed and diehard sports fan. At Pet Paradise, they're crazy about pets too. The official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
Welcome back, Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network on this Thursday afternoon, headed into preseason week number 2. The Jaguars and the New Orleans Saints coming up at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans Monday night. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock, the official kickoff time. We'll go on the air on the network at 7 o'clock sharp with Countdown to Kickoff this coming Monday, and we'll look forward to preseason week number 2, as will Shaq Quarterman, inside linebacker for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's moving up the depth chart a bit after the trade of Joe Schobert, so he is behind at this moment on the depth chart. We're looking at Damian Wilson, who's at the top now with the trade of Schobert, and then Shaq is kind of right behind him, getting a good amount of time, obviously, in practice and a lot of time in the game last week against the Cleveland Browns. Special teams contributor a year ago in his rookie season, had 6 total special teams tackles last year, spent a little time on injured reserve later in the season, and he was not used to a lot of that. Remember, at Miami, he played 52 consecutive games, all starts, and told me earlier today he'd never missed a game in high school or junior high or anything else. So to even be down the depth chart was different for him, and certainly to miss time last year. He's back. He's healthy. He'll be a key contributor for Urban Meyer, and he had plenty to say about special teams reps and balancing those with the defensive reps and playing in his hometown stadium.
It's all about preparation. You know, going into even practice, you have to prepare your mind to be able to switch into different pockets, you know, which allows you to win. If you think about it as just one single fight, you know, that can be kind of daunting when you think about the whole thing. But for me, you know, whether it's special teams, whether it's first or second down, third down, my only object is to win. So when you have that mindset, you know, whatever position they put you in, you know, as long as you have the same goal of winning, you know, you just out there to compete and be the best of the best in my mind.
Shaq, tell us about your relationship with Damian Wilson and Miles Jack, guys like that, guys who've been around the league for a long time. How have they assisted you, helped you along? I know Damian's just been here with one off season. You've known Miles for a couple of years now.
No, I'd say they're very helpful. You know, Damian just coming in, I feel as though he's brought something different to the linebacker room and just another perspective from where he's coming from and where he's came from and the things that he's accomplished. You know, as far as Miles Jack, I got to spend a lot of time with Miles Jack this offseason before OTAs, you know, even last year. And he's definitely taking me underneath the wing, you know, showing me a lot of the ropes and the nuances of the league, whereas I'm just, you know, coming from college, and most, you know, rookies coming from college, it's all about the, you know, I want to play right now. I want to be the best of the best, and I want to show that early on. And there's nothing wrong with that as he's teaching me. It's just that, you know, it's just different levels of doing that at this level. And just learning that from him has been really good for me.
Feels like this defense could be fun to watch. Is it fun to play?
Definitely flying around with my guys and just having fun, man. As long as we set edges, man, and the whole cavalry's coming, I love it. I love it.
Shaq, you get to run out into TIAA Bank Field when the Jags are home. You grew up in this town. Would you have ever thought that when you were growing up in this area, that you'd be running out at TIAA Bank Field with a Jaguar cat head on your shirt?
No, sir. You know, when I was younger, I thought it was definitely a possibility. You know, as you get older and you learn more, you're like, well, many teams don't like to draft hometown talent for whatever reason. Maybe it's just the hometown distractions or whatever the case may be. But, you know, definitely having this opportunity has been, you know, at first it was mind-blowing and riveting, and now it's just more of a responsibility I put on myself, you know, for my friends and family and just fans who watch me play at every level from Pop Warner ball to middle school, you know. It's definitely, it hits different for me. So I prepare that way because I got a lot of people in those stands.
Yes, he does. That's Shaq Quarterman, Jaguars middle linebacker, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do in year number 2. Of course, attended Oakleaf High School down in Orange Park. Has a lot of supporters in this town. And, you know, you were thinking about it during the interview there. One of the last Jaguars players that's from this area had to be Rashean Mathis. So it doesn't happen a lot, and hey, hopefully this one works out, man, because he's a fantastic guy. It was great to talk with him today, and you'll hear the full interview coming up. Michael Ross is another that played at JU, I believe, was a gunner for a short time. Of course, Rashean had the long career here, and let's hope Shaq Quarterman has one as well, because having a hometown guy on the team is pretty cool. It really is. It doesn't happen too often. This could be a big run for him here. He got a lot of play in last week's game. He had the third most defensive snaps of any player on defense last week, 33 plays, 46% of those, and 10 special teams plays, tied for the most of anybody on the team last week. He will be a contributor there for sure on special teams. How he can work into that defensive rotation, if there is one there at that position, we'll have to see down the line. But things are good for Shaq Quarterman. Seems healthy, seems in a good place, and hopefully it continues to grow here in Jacksonville. Plenty ahead. We'll come back with Peter King of NBC Sports. He was at practice today. His thoughts on Urban Meyer off the field with the players and the quarterback discussion from Peter King. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
It's a fact. All cars will eventually break down. If you have CarShield, you can protect yourself from the high cost of auto repairs. And they're America's #1 auto protection company. Your transmission, engine, and car's computer system are all covered. Get the ultimate vehicle service protection. Call CarShield now at 800-471-1223. That's 800-471-1223.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight. Liftoff. When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. Jaguars Happy Hour rolls along on the Jaguars Radio Network. JP Shadrick with you. Jeff Lageman in earlier today. We just heard from Shaq Quarterman. The full interview will air before Monday night's game on the Publix Tailgate Show in Jacksonville and 1010XL Radio, our flagship station, and on Jaguars social media channels, including YouTube, Facebook, and Jaguars Twitter. Peter King was at practice today. Longtime NFL reporter, started covering the league in the mid-'80s, 29 years at Sports Illustrated, where he created Monday Morning Quarterback, his Monday column. It still runs, by the way. He has since moved on to NBC Sports and is the author of Football Morning in America on Pro Football Talk each Monday morning. Plenty of thoughts. A full interview aired earlier. If you missed it, you can catch it on the first hour podcast coming up of Jaguars Happy Hour a little later today. But Peter King had thoughts about Urban Meyer's transition to the league, not just on the field, but with the players of the NFL, and some thoughts about the quarterback position for the Jags.
I think the one thing about Urban, and I mean, look, we have seen a lot of college coaches come into the NFL. And for every Jimmy Johnson, there's a Chip Kelly. You know, there's maybe more, there's a Steve Spurrier. You know, so honestly, I mean, JP, we don't know if it's going to work, but I do think that in today's football, you need to make sure that you're not just the football coach of the team, that there is a message out there that the players trust that you can give out every day. And I tend to think that if your players trust the coach and trust the coaching staff, you've got a much better chance to win today in today's football.
Peter King with us from NBC Sports and Football Morning in America. I saw you out on the practice field earlier in the quarterback huddle. Did you hear the snap of the throw from Trevor Lawrence? That's the big question everyone wants an answer.
I wish I did, but the problem is music was playing and you couldn't hear yourself think. I'm just kidding, but the music was too loud and I couldn't hear it. But what I really took from it is that ball comes out of his hands so beautifully and it's almost effortless. And, you know, imagine a Max Scherzer fastball and throwing the fastball without even a grimace, you know? And that's kind of what you notice when you're standing right up next to him and watch him throw that was like probably about a 12-yard out to the sidelines. And look, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a real interesting experiment here because, you know, we all think it's likely he's going to start the opening game and start this season. But, you know, you go from camp to camp, and, I mean, there's 4 quarterbacks here who should be on NFL rosters. I mean, active rosters. I mean, if you think right now, and look, who knows, maybe they end up trading Minshew. I don't know. But if you have to go into a season with C.J. Beathard as your backup, that's pretty good. And Jake Luton as your number 3. Yeah. I mean, that's really pretty good. And so I think they're in a good spot at quarterback especially. But again, you know, I think the big issue is going to be, and it always is, if you're going to play a young quarterback, I mean, Peyton Manning threw a jillion interceptions when he was a rookie. And you're just going to have to deal with the growing pains. And I think that, you know, I still really am interested in seeing if Urban Meyer is going to do what he says he's going to do, which is, I have learned in the run-up to this that I need to be able to take losing. And I will. I'll be able to take it. So we'll see what happens with that. He's an educated, very, very smart person. So I don't doubt that he is going to be able to deal with it, but I still want to see it also.
That's Peter King. The full conversation, as we said, will be in the Hour 1 podcast on the official Jaguars podcast network on Jaguars Happy Hour. It will be available a little bit later this evening, and the full conversation is fantastic, as always, with Peter King. We thank him for his time this week. We'll come back. Our final thoughts. Well, it's the last show of the week, and then the Jaguars have some media tomorrow, and then it's game night on Monday night in preseason week 2. And this is Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubby's Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
If something's been hurting, aching, or bothering you, don't ignore it any longer. It's time to take care of your health again. It's time to make an appointment with a Baptist Health primary care doctor or specialist. Call 904-202-4U to schedule a virtual visit or see a doctor in person at a Baptist Health location. The time for better health is here. Call 904-202-4YOU or visit getbetterjacks.com.
A lot has changed in 60 years, but there's one thing that remains the same. Our commitment to our customers and to our community. There's no place like Jacksonville, and there's no place like Gate. Thank you for allowing us to serve you, past, present, and future. Now through August 31st, Jags fans can enjoy 2 of your favorite roller grill items for just $2 at participating Gate locations. Get them while they're hot. Gate, serving up more.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone. Like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer. All named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Have you painted yourself for game day and dyed your pet's fur to match? Do you bleed your team's colors and deck your pet out in team gear? Do you plan game day watch parties for fellow sports lovers and their beloved pets? Do you find yourself nodding yes while listening to this with your four-legged friend? Then you are a rare breed. You are a pet fanatic, equal parts pet obsessed and die-hard sports fan. At Pet Paradise, they're crazy about pets too. That's why pet fanatics take their pets to Pet Paradise, the official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So if you haven't brought your pet in to see them yet, the only real question is, what are you waiting for? Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
Welcome back, Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network, rolling along. And PRI Productions always rolls along. The Southeast Full Service Event Company has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com and learn more. So tomorrow, the Jaguars are back on the practice field. Urban Meyer is slated to speak with the media late morning before practice. Trevor Lawrence is also on the docket tomorrow. We'll hear what those two have to say. Final thoughts ahead of the Monday Night Football matchup in preseason week 2. No media availability Saturday or Sunday, and the team travels Sunday. They'll arrive in New Orleans late in the afternoon and then get ready for Monday Night Football. And we're looking forward to that football game and curious to see, obviously, the reps that the starters will have. The thought process here is that they'll most likely expand them some. Gotta just find the end zone, right? Move the ball, get some points on the board, get a little more flow offensively, a little more urgency. Urban Meyer kind of talked about that a little bit earlier in the week, the tempo and all that. Not a no-huddle tempo, but get some things moving with the first-team offense and continue to see some improvement from Trevor Lawrence, Gardner Minshew for that matter as well. Only had 11 plays last week. You could expect that to go up maybe a little bit as well. So a lot to look forward to. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff time. We're on the air in Jacksonville on 1010XL at 5 o'clock, and then countdown to kickoff on the Jaguars Radio Network starts at 7. It's officially an 8:10 kickoff from the Superdome. It'll be on ESPN and then on Channel 4 here in Jacksonville as well. Looking forward to the Publix Tailgate Show. Plenty of great guests this week on our flagship station. starting at 5 o'clock. And then countdown to kickoff, Fred Taylor, as always. We've got Pete Prisco, CBS Sports senior writer. We'll hear from the guys in the booth, Frank Frangie, Tony Baselli, Jeff Lageman. And we'll, of course, have the final word with head coach Urban Meyer before kickoff of preseason week number 2. It's a big one, too. Let's see if this team can get better. Let's see what happened. Last week was the first time out for a brand-new team and a brand-new coaching staff. Let's see if they can make some improvements going into week number 2 in New Orleans. Thanks to our guests tonight, Peter King, Shaq Quarterman, Brian Schottenheimer, Jeff Lageman, our analyst, Joe Fortunato on the audio side, Brent Reber and Max Hockman on the video side. For all those involved, I'm JP Shadrick. We'll catch you next time. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.